of a lot of updates this week, except for one big one, which is the updates. They're going to happen. The app update is actually going to happen this week. They had a lot of iterations that they wanted to fix, and so
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
I did get to watch the yacht party launch party video and live streaming. It was awesome.
Yeah, the party was incredible. Yeah, it was. I'll go over a little bit of that too. I got some videos. All right, so it looks like, oh, we've got a bunch of people jumping in right now. I'm also live streaming this to TikTok. Hello, everyone. All right, so I'll start with the PHIRE on pledge, and then we'll talk about all of the updates that are happening. And I was actually supposed to be on vacation this week, but that's an interesting story in and of itself. All right, so the PHIRE on pledge is, I pledge my mind to the respectful recognition of the sovereign liberty essential to human dignity. I pledge my hands to the creation and maintenance of communal, cultural, and ecological prosperity. I pledge my eyes to watch over the integrity of truth and justice with the acceptance of the natural balance of diversity and equality. I pledge my heart to the connection that binds all of us throughout creation. And I pledge my whole being with humility and love to the grateful service of all sentient beings and human consciousness. And I will duly act in accordance with the principles derived from such wisdom. Today is Monday, March 15th, and this is the fireside chat for the community in the PHIRE on Telegram, and that's at t.me/PHIREon, PHIREON. And this is the update. I'm going to go through a little bit of what's happened in the past week, what was supposed to happen last week, what will happen this week, and what we're looking at next week. So in terms of the party, as you were saying, Tom, it was a huge success in so many ways. And it's funny because I had a lot of conversations with a lot of different people over the course of the past week where it kept popping up, and like just how effective it was in accomplishing some of the things that I didn't even expect it to, which was allow us to have some deeper conversations with a lot of investors and people who are really stoked to have this project, not only as a reality in the world, but that people that want to put their works, their either exchanges or their artistry, like they have an entire host of artists and musicians that want to do NFTs and then automatic payments, so that anytime their work is viewed and or consumed, listened to, that they automatically get a payment through a blockchain mechanism called a smart contract, which is what we're going to be able to do on the PHIRE on app. So the party succeeded in many ways. I actually watched the video of my daughter performing and I started crying. I was just like, I was very moved by it in so many deep ways. And I just feel very grateful for how this is all unfolding. Last week, we were supposed to have an update on the app in the app stores, the Google Play Store, and it didn't happen. And that's because they finished one iteration and they're like, oh, we actually need to fix this too. So they ended up going through a number of things. So hopefully this week we'll see like a number of improvements, both in speed and in functionality on some of the basic stuff that we all had issues with when it first started. I want to be able to enjoy myself on the app, and there's a lot of little bugs that prevent me from doing so. And that's kind of pissed me off. And what I need is one of our advisors who's also on the board in a functional capacity. He's going to be coming on those phone calls so that he can kind of push them. He's done a lot of development, app development in the past. And like, I like to be the nice guy, right? Like, this is our goal. Let's all get there. Oh, you're not accomplishing what I want. Oh, it's all right. We'll work it out, And I need somebody to be like, no, we paid this much and we want this much done. This has to be how it unfolds. So we're kind of working that out on the back end as well. But we'll see some improvements this week, which I'm excited about. I was supposed to go to Puerto Rico and take a week and kind of just go with my family for their spring break. And I don't know if you know this about PCR tests, but they don't actually test for any viruses. They test for genes. So you could have one of 4 genes or one of 3 genes, and they'll consider you a positive instead of actually having the virus. Because we went and got tests to test for the virus and then found out, we're all negative, but then that, certain port authorities or whatever require the PCR test, not just the immediate test. And by the PCR tests, everybody in my family besides me has one of 3 genes. So it's like they don't have the virus, they just have parts of it, right? So they consider that a positive. So that nixed our whole vacation. So I'm like revamping my whole week and doing all of the things that I was going to be doing next week, this week. Some of the meetings that are pretty pivotal to our development here are going to happen next week still. And we have a number of funding opportunities lining up, which are really inspiring, actually. And we have our SAFT completed, right? So the sale of future tokens for accredited investors. However, that's not open to the public. That's just, I haven't even considered, I've considered, but I haven't launched it or announced it or done any of that. So it's a very exciting 2-3 weeks that are going to be coming up. Once we have our full capitalization, we will be revamping the entire app into a much leaner, meaner Web 3.0 machiner, essentially, where you can access it from any web, any device, whether it's Apple or Android, and still have the full functionality of like an entire, wallet system, voting system, social media apparatus, and all of that, which I'm very excited about, because then we get to implement some really cool technologies, not just in the software, but also in the hardware. And we have contracts lining up with some big municipalities throughout the United States and abroad. And that's like our client pipeline, let's say. So we have all of the pieces in place, and I started getting an inundation of offers and money, and I was like, let me just slow down and really take a good look at each one of them to make sure that it's like, this is destined to happen. This is something that the universe and the earth and the people of earth and the consciousness of the people of earth want to see happen. So it's a matter of maintaining true like stewardship in a good way, right? So that it's the right choices are made, the right partners are picked, and we get to build this thing that will help change the course of humanity for the better in a very strong and good foundation. So those are the updates on that end. Trying to think if there's anything else specifically. We talked about the sensors last week and the phones, and how the PHIRE phones will be able to scan you and determine if you have, precursors to cancer, degenerative bone diseases, or viruses, and that hopefully we'll be able to turn around and put those into market at like many hundreds of millions of units for bomb detection, for gold verification, for virus authentication, or it's also really simple for it's an unhackable way for biometric viewing of to get into your accounts, right? So it's one of the only hardwares that are out there that can actually verify you without the shadow of a doubt that you are who you say you are when you're logging into your banking app or something. So very exciting stuff. And I think those are all the updates on the PHIRE end of things. Does anybody have any questions? And for those of you viewing on TikTok, I've got a full live stream with my PHIRE community on Telegram, and we're doing a question and answer kind of weekly fireside chat with a guided meditation at the end. So anybody? Natasha.
Hi. So my question is about NFTs.
Yeah.
So from what I gather, maybe I'm wrong, because I didn't do extensive research. I have so many other things that I'm looking into. So what I'm understanding, I'm probably wrong, but what I'm understanding is it's more like art auction kind of thing. I have no idea. I don't understand.
Yeah.
What I don't understand about it is how is it like money, or am I wrong in understanding that?
No, and you know what? Like, thank you for asking that, because that was a whole thing that I didn't actually think to speak about. But PHIRE is actually building out a whole NFT marketplace. So what NFTs are essentially one-of-a-kind digital tokens. They're on at this point, they're on either the EOS blockchain or Ethereum blockchain, right? And what they are is they are specific addresses, let's say, on those blockchains that are enabled with smart contracts, which allow them to do cool things. But at the even without the smart contracts, you can just say, this is a one-of-a-kind data set You can't forge it, you can't hack it, you can't make another one of it. That's one of a kind. So it's an address on a blockchain that's one of a kind, and you can put data in it. It's like, think of it this way. You go to Rapids Water Park, or you go to a train station, and they have lockers available for everybody, right? You get, for a period of time, a little key, and that's your locker, right? And you can put whatever you want in that locker. And then you have that key. That key is the NFT. It allows you to access a specific point on the blockchain. And the specific point, the blockchain is like a bunch of lockers that everybody gets to see what's in the locker. They don't know who's got the key, but they can see that all of these lockers have a specific thing in them, or a specific set of things. What they do is they take those NFT addresses, and then they put a piece of art in there, like a JPEG, or a video, or a WAV file and a music file, or a deed for a house, or your passport information. You can actually do a lot of things with NFTs that are pretty creative. And some of the clients that we're talking to, when I said municipalities earlier, some of them want to be able to do their permitting and licensing, right, through this kind of a blockchain structure, or having a deed to your house on an NFT in an address in a blockchain that you can 100% verify as yours. So right now, people are using NFTs for art, video, JPEGs, GIFs, and these unique one-of-a-kind pieces of data. One of them just sold for $69 million by an artist named Beeple, right? And he's this, well put together young man, and he's like killing it, like literally by selling data, essentially. There's some other cool things that people are doing with NFTs, whereby I'll tell you what I've done. I have put up every episode of Baseline as an NFT. So you can, if they remove me from YouTube or try to censor me off of whatever, you can go find the full episodes on the storefront, right? And you can either purchase it or watch it right there or whatever. And you can say, like, I own this, this piece of information here. Some other things that I've done is I've put the masters to some of my musical works up as NFTs. You might say, like, well, why would you put your music up there? You can go put it on Google. Like, if you have an NFT of it and you have the file somewhere else, like, it's not that special, and you'd be correct. You take that NFT, however, and make it redeemable. Like, here, if you purchase this NFT, now you can have rights to my masters, my musical tracks. And if you want to buy it for, let's say, $20,000 and then go license it to somebody else, you can. You can put it in movies and do all of this stuff with it, so it becomes yours. And then anytime that NFT is sold, I built in the contract whereby if they sell it for 100,000, then out of that 100,000, I get 10% or 15% back automatically. And so it allows artists, for instance, to have full control over their works, whether it be digital or a digital representation of the painting. Another set of works that I did, I took my large paintings and I created NFTs for them. And those paintings sell for about $5,000 to $10,000, and they have. And if you buy the NFT for that $5,000 to $10,000, you can redeem that NFT or prove to me that you have it, and I'll give you the full big painting, right? So it's another way of disintermediating, like, art galleries, let's say. So now you can go onto the website, see the art, and be like, I want that in my house, and I'll buy the NFT, and now, you'll send me the painting, no charge to me, whatever. So there's a number of ways that they can be used. And another way is I just put JPEGs of some hieroglyphics that I did, like automatic writing sessions, and those are just strictly JPEGs that you can purchase, right? And I put them across all of the different marketplaces, let's say, to establish myself as like an artist that's creating. And so now I'm going to be like speaking at Bit Basel and Art Basel and whatever. And because I'm one of the earliest blockchain innovators in the world, like, there's a story there, right? And so, like, I can leverage that story, my life, and the works that I've done with PHIRE and all of the works that I did before that with the nations and all of this. And you can buy like a piece of original art in digital form with that. So that's how people are using it. There are tricky ways in which people with lots of money use art as a mechanism for tax avoidance, right? So let's say you are a multimillionaire and you commission your friend to do a painting. You pay him $1,000. You take it to your other friend who is an art appraiser and you say, what's this? Maybe like $50,000. And he says, yeah, that's good. Signs off on it. And then you donate that art to somebody, to a nonprofit, and then you have a $49,000 tax write-off. So there's a lot of fraud in the art world, and that's also why art pieces tend to go up. I won't make a blanket statement and say art never depreciates, because like it could be damaged, whatever. But on the whole, art tends to go up in price over time. It's one of the few appreciating assets out there. And so now it's all going digital. And, you know, there's some people who say the digital world will comprise 60% of a person's day, like whether it's virtual reality or whatever, open life, there's Minecraft, there's all these virtual worlds that people are building real estate in, digital real estate, and they're using these NFTs in those ways. I have a client who has approached me to get some really famous sports people, right? To get them into the NFT game, selling memorabilia or access to them as the sports person or notable personality or whatever. So you can get an NFT. One of the things we're exploring is like an NFT that allows them to come to any game of theirs, right? Or one is like, let's get their sneakers that they don't wear anymore and make an NFT, print it inside the sneaker, and then sell the sneaker as memorabilia. You know, you buy the NFT, you get the shoe, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of creative ways people are coming to this market and doing interesting things with it. But then there's also real functional things where you can, in the way, for instance, in PHIRE, you'll have your own NFT, which is your membership token, right? It'll be in your wallet, and that's how you will be able to access the app. If you don't have that token in your wallet, it'll be like you've lost your membership card, right? And there'll only be certain data, like your name and your age or whatever, just like some basic information that won't invade or put into jeopardy your privacy, that will allow you to function within the app. And certain people in the app, like managers at different levels or different regions, will have a specific token that allow them access in the app to their job functions. And the coding in that will be done in such a way where there'll be revocable tokens. So they don't just appear and then stay forever. They appear, and then if the smart contract will read such that if their rating goes below a certain PHI threshold, those tokens will be revoked and they'll lose them out of their wallets automatically, and they won't be able to access their job functions in the app, for instance. So this is one of the ways we keep accountability. So the non-fungible tokens are really exciting for a variety of uses. It just so happens we're so early in the game with them right now that they're being used for art, and the creatives, right, get in and figure out all the cool things we can do with them, and then it sort of solidifies as a marketplace, just like as Bitcoin did, right? Like in all the cryptocurrencies did. They enabled certain new functions and way of conducting economy. And now people have started taking them and making them more effective in their true use, which is like accountability, transactability, and, you know, transparency, and all of the things that we need in our civilization to continue on in any meaningful and good way. So thank you for reminding me of that. It's a huge thing for PHIRE. In fact, one of the biggest record companies in the world, I was on the phone with one of their former CEOs. And they're doing something very exciting. They left Sony to do this exciting thing, and we're talking about having PHIRE be their front end for that exciting thing, which would be a way to pay artists rather than Patreon or Spotify or any of these other gateways, right? It's like the record labels were the first gatekeepers, and then Spotify and all these guys became the next gatekeepers. We're looking at a way of disintermediating them even, and making it a direct consumer market where if you watch a video, we can see how long you watched it for and pay the artist based upon their views, specifically in a token that's valued in the exchange, in the PHIRE exchange, against other currencies. So it's like, here's a way that we can automate value, disintermediate the people who become gatekeepers, and allow the world to transact globally, you know, immediately, and really exchange value without the middlemen, right? So that's a huge component of what we're going to be doing. So thanks for bringing that up, Natasha.
Thank you for answering that in such great detail. I love the positive step forward that we're taking in so many ways, all the ways that you listed, and especially for the artists. You know, the whole broke artist thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad to hear that that could be finally something we could, you know, for the better things are coming.
Yes.
Or they're here.
Yeah, and what I want PHIRE to do, it's not up to me what PHIRE does. It's really up to all of us. But one of the things that I would really like to see is, like, let's say we make $1 million in a month on everybody's transaction fees. Can we take 100,000 of that and pick the next 5 artists, for the year, and give them each a salary of $20,000 so they can just get by, basic,
I love it.
and then make their art happen. So it's like community supported agriculture, but community supported art, really.
Right. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody else got a question? We've got Tom. Can't hear you, Tom. Still can't hear you. You are muted.
Just wanted to recognize Natasha. She's the spotlight of the day on the app today.
Hey, nice. Thank you, Natasha. That's amazing. There are people who've never used social media before, like literally on the app, and they've got some really good ideas on how to fix it, and I'm totally looking forward to that. Natasha, how do you feel on the app right now?
Oh, well, we are figuring out the bugs, the kinks, whatever. I see a positive thing in the future. I'm somebody that sees the bigger picture or the future of whatever the product is. So I'm seeing not what it is now, but I see what it will be in the future. And I think it's fucking amazing.
Thank you. So what that's called, somebody like you, it's called leading from the future, right? There's people who live in the past and try to avoid all of the problems that they've hit in the past. And that creates a whole bunch of, coping mechanisms that aren't necessarily healthy for the person. But when you can see like an artist, like I see this potential, and then you work backwards from that, it's like you're leading from the future instead of restricting yourself from the past, right? So thank you. I love those kind words. And thanks for your patience with it. Tom, you have anything?
Thank you. Again, thank you.
And then I'll jump back in and I wrote in the chat, but I'll just tell you, had a friend this weekend, we were discussing blockchains and NFTs came up, and he told me he bought a pack of like NBA basketball cards.
Yeah.
Or digital trading cards.
Yeah.
It had like a Zion Williams rookie in it. And he said now they valued that little digital NFT at $26,000.
It's nuts. That's so wild. Yeah. And like in Bitcoin's beginning heyday, right? Like in 2015 and 2014 to 15, it shot up like crazy. And we're talking like from 10 cents to $400, right? And that was like, oh my God. And then it crashed. And then it ran back up 16 to 17. It ran up to, I think it was $19,000, $20,000. And then it crashed. And it's like, we're seeing these cycles. I'm curious to see what happens with the NFT market, because I don't see the same kind of crashing taking place, right? Because again, ostensibly art and memorabilia doesn't go down in value. It tends to always rise. So like when I put my works in, I put some in at like $10, put some in at $1,000, put some in at $10,000, and I put some in at 20, 30, just to see, right? To test it. And like the amount of clients that are coming in saying we need NFTs, and they're sports people, they're like not the NBA, but big names, and like we can do that. And then what we want to do is we want to provide them with the NFTs now, so that when we're ready, hopefully Q3, we can have their NFTs in our marketplace, and all of the other, have like a curated, like high quality NFT market, So good shit. So I see that we have some new people in here, but I want to open it up to any questions before we start introducing new folks. Thanks for your question, Tom. All right, Michael, I'll check them out on Messenger. Thanks for letting me know. Does anybody else have any questions about PHIRE and or the work that we're doing?
I wouldn't mind saying that I think this NFT thing is fabulous for, I think of ancient Egypt with how much food they have and how much art they had, and how those, I'll call them industries, were able to really thrive because they were taken care of. And I'm surrounded here in Northern California by so many great artists.
Yeah.
But they struggle a lot. And I've kind of caught on to the concept that they don't really have that business mind to leverage so that they can thrive.
Right.
So when I hear these NFT concepts, this is what I'm thinking, like, oh, wait, this could be the support system that allows them to go create
Yeah. Yeah.
and produce food.
Exactly. And yes, I think civilization has been structured in such a way to produce specific results. And the people sitting on top are the people who know how people think and know how to structure colleges, universities, institutions in such a way to find the cream of the crop and then put them to some good use, managing the herd, let's say. But where does that leave humans? Like, we instinctually like want to just live in harmony. Like, we want to be in balance. Like, we want to be in balance with that which is around us. We want to be provided with food and have a comfortable environment. When we do that without the stresses of having to survive and the drudgery of bills and all of this shit, then we expand our thinking, expand our spirit, expand the scope of our understanding into a greater degree of comprehension about ourselves, our place in the cosmos, and compassion, really gratitude. And artists are such an important part of that. Musical art, creative painting art, you know, singing, like dancing, drumming, all of these things, they're vital to humans experiencing joy, experiencing beauty, experiencing peace. And if they're not empowered to do so, then the whole collective consciousness of the human species dwindles, right? And the spark of joy that is within each one of us dwindles. And it takes people to remember that that's there and build systems that help them to bring up their spark, because it benefits everyone. Like, I mean, you look at like tribes where they hunter-gatherers, this and that, and they all have art, you know, and in a hunter-gatherer lifestyle, you're working maybe 3 hours a day, you know, and most of the other time is like cooking, cleaning, building things, you know, forging things, and spending time with your family and contemplating the universe. And then they come up with the most beautiful artistry that expresses their tribal soul, right? And that's, I think, what we're missing here. And we're getting to like a global level where everybody's interacting with one another. And so we're trying to figure out, what is our global consciousness? What is our global culture? And it takes systems like PHIRE and others that help people have that global connectivity, but maintain their tribal cultural values and have that interchange where everybody sees the value in one another. And we can measure that, and we can provide value to where it's diminished and all of this, and get us back on a path. And it starts with the artists, right? It's like even gentrification of communities, you know, all the artists move into a low income area because that's what they can afford. And then they do all their cool shit. And then people are like, oh, there's cool life force there. Creativity's happening there. So then they come in and buy places, the property value goes up. And then the artists who built that cool creative life force, energetic frequency leave, and then it goes, you know. So to find that balance there. So yes, Allison, the goal is primarily like equitability, you know, and getting everybody playing on a level playing field, and then engaging the soul of humanity. So
right, it's beautiful.
Thank you. I got a couple messages in the group chat. I am not new. I've been iPhone for a few weeks. Just figured out how to change my name. I'm at work and can't really talk. Okay, no worries, David. Michael asking, can you say something about the graphene houses? Yes. Okay. Next week, I'm going back to the facility. For those of you who don't know, we have a partner of ours who builds seawalls, builds structural infrastructure, and are replacing steel with graphene and basalt, and a bunch of different kinds of resins, and like creating materials out of different materials, putting them together in like a resin or a mold. And these materials are way stronger than steel, don't corrode, have antibacterial properties. And we're taking some of that and putting the purpose of that into building tiny houses. A good friend of mine, Vinay Gupta, who's in the PHIRE chat on Telegram, he came up with this concept for a hexayurt, which is essentially, you could go to like Home Depot or any box store and get 12 or 16, I think, of these 4x8s. It's the standard structure of like plywood and cardboard and insulation material, and built this wonderful 6-sided house, tiny house with a hexagonal pointy roof. And I initially bought a website called hexahome.com and was going to build these, and went to different contractors to get SIPS panels like 10 years ago. but the technology was such that all those SIPS panels were made out of heavy duty styrofoam that's not good for the earth. It would have been cost prohibitive. The building would have been cheap, but the environmental impact would not have been. So I put that on hold, sold the website, which I shouldn't have. If you're hearing this, Vinay. And so I went to go see this guy's materials, and what he has is like a 4-inch thick wall made out of graphene and basalt, among other things. And to make the same hexa house that I was looking to make, which is like, you know, maybe a couple hundred square feet, not very big, tiny house standards, would have cost, you know, 30 grand 10 years ago. And now they're going to be 3 grand, only $3,000 for a complete framed house built out of this material. And the qualities of this material are, it could be 20 degrees or 90 degrees outside, and it'll be 75 inside. No air conditioning costs, no electricity costs. The walls themselves are antibacterial. They produce oxygen by the natural process of the resins mixing over time. They also transfer heat in such a way and disperse it that you can actually make an electrification process out of that heat transference on one side of the graphene and on the other. So you can actually produce electricity. Now, it's not a whole lot of electricity. It's just a little bit, but it's enough with all of the walls doing it to put a lining of electric paint along the point where the ceiling and the wall comes together that can light up and change colors. So you can actually have lighting based upon the natural properties of the resin mixture, which just blows my mind. I'm forgetting if there was other qualities to it. Oh, it's stronger than steel, like has a greater weight load. You could bury it if you wanted to and build underground houses with it. And with the hexahome structure that I've designed, you can actually make it modular, so you can fit a bunch together and essentially put a 5-bedroom house together for less than you would pay for a standard stick frame, with much more ecological sustainability, with much more environmental remediation, because it's A, producing oxygen, B, doesn't cost electricity to heat or cool your house. And this is like 4 inches thick, right? It's insane. It's like space age polymers basically, but that are all natural, and the process to get them are not environmentally degrading. So I'm very, very excited about that. And we're going to put those up at the first FIRE hub up in Western North Carolina. And if we can, and if we can do so, start building out across the planet. Like, we're basically going to be able to take FIRE and say, here, government A, this is all of the administrative, bureaucratic, economic management that you need, so that you can also communicate with all of your citizens. You can't invade their privacy, because the way that the code is built, like, we can't even see it, but we know that anybody coming in, we know who they are when they come in, we know who they are when they go out, and we know how much money they bring in or bring out. But everything that happens inside, private. So, there's no drugs, no trafficking, none of that involved inside. You can know it's a safe place. So by that token, we get to maintain everybody's privacy, because we have such strict rules kind of to get into and out of the garden, as it were. Now, a lot of Bitcoin and liberty-minded purists would say, no walled gardens, it has to be completely anonymous, all of this, but you can't run a civilization in the way that we're looking to, in terms of like, global culture and all of this, without having some measure of safety, right? So that is that. So what is this called? How can I research more? Electra. What is what called? This is called PHIRE, PHIREON. David says, I love this group and love this idea. My superpower, I don't really know. I'm horrible at seeing my own abilities. You all motivate me. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you're, hopefully finding some light in the darkness of this fucked up civilization as it's unfolding. So what? The graphene house is amazing. I have a place in Oklahoma for one. We're going to set up a corporation to send these tiny houses wherever they are needed, and they'll be really inexpensive. I should add that $3,000 is minus the electrical and plumbing and all of this. We have some really novel ideas on how to do all of that. DC powered inverters, for plugging in your items and whatever. But like an RV uses very little power, and you can still do all of the functions of a house. It's just, are you willing to live in balance with the earth, in a sense where you're consuming less, but you make do with the things that you have. Still very luxurious. It's kind of like walking into a futuristic environment with lots of greenery, but it's very holistic. The material doesn't have a name. It is not even hit the market yet. So I just, based upon my relationships and the integrity of this project and the integrity that we all walk with, you know, we're getting access to really cool cutting edge stuff. So the process is about stewarding those technologies in such a way that they are not turned into harmful processes for people. And that's probably the biggest challenge we will have as a group and as a company, as a corporation, is making sure that we do everything in integrity to the highest. And that's why we say the pledge in the beginning. That's why we remind everybody that it's not just business as usual. It's really about coming correct into the world, and like recognizing the gift that life is, and how can we best steward that to leave it a better place than we found it. So yeah. Oh, so Electra, yeah, graphene is in it, and basalt, which is, you know, a very common rock, but there's a very specific way of manufacturing it and turning it into fiber. You can turn rocks into fiber. So that's some exciting stuff. All right, those are all of the questions in the chat. Does anybody have a question they'd like to speak out loud? Otherwise, I'm going to call on people that I have not seen before and get them to introduce themselves and tell us your superpower and what is exciting about this project for you. So Electra, we're going to start with you, if that's all right. I don't know if you said you can't speak because you're at work or not, if that was somebody else. Electra, would you be all right with introducing yourself, telling us your name, where you're from, and your superpower? Don't be shy. We're all friends here. Oh, people are sleeping. No worries. Well, thank you for being here. Appreciate your time and attention. Alliston, you gave us a quick question, but I don't think we've actually met before. Would you mind telling us who you are and what you're about?
Yeah. I'm Allison. I was raised in North Jersey, never bought it, kind of got out of that area as soon as I could to avoid what felt like being invaded nonstop, whether that be my thoughts, my body, what was expected of me. Mm-hmm. So came on out to California and raised a family up in the mountains, a little red cabin, and split firewood and cooked on a wood burning stove, and just loved life, made friends with the birds and whatnot, and dropped down the hill a little bit and like 2,500 feet. Kids are now grown, and something's missing. I can't put my finger on it, and I think I've always felt that way, even as a child. Something's not quite right with this storyline.
Right.
And discovered, mushrooms. Had a ceremony that connected me to the cosmic web, and realized that the business direction I started to take with accounting was through the internet, that same web formation. And just really feeling like when I'm at the computer, like I'm in a cockpit, and it's like a spaceship. And if I think the way out of here is through that. Not that I want to leave here. Mm-hmm. I think we can do better. I think there's a lot more out there than we are given in terms of knowledge. We're on a hamster wheel, and we're much more capable. I'm extremely powerful. I literally can make, I've gone into some pretty intense, dangerous situations to help things and made some serious waves in the world. And, the whole time through, people were like, just be quiet, and, go get your nails done. And I was like, no, I feel fangs and my hair on fire. We're going to break chains of abuse. And I've done it. And I know that that's not through anything without everything. It's the universe that's tapped that. Yeah. And I do my best to stay open to it. And when I started to hear you speak, X, I was like, you were speaking my language, and it was literally the surroundings would vibrate. When I got back from the launch party, the water pipes inside my house started to burst.
Oh no!
Like literally bursting, and I just chuckle it off because I don't own it. I'm like, wow, like I'm really expanding so much that I'm popping leaks in my walls. Like this is beyond me, and I'm not going to resist this. I'm on board. Something's right about this. So That's who I am. When you say, where are you from? I don't know where I'm from.
Right?
I don't know.
We
No
all
one
found
knows.
we all found ourselves on this planet kind of bumbling around being like, what the heck is going on? How do I
Yeah.
figure my way? Like,
Yeah.
and it's wild because people think, oh, if you can just adjust yourself to the madness, then somehow you're okay. And it's like, no, you're just mad with
No.
everybody else, you know? I think it takes people like us who it's insane the way that the world is running and the things that are happening and so out of balance that people who are in balance seem like out of balance to the herd, when it's really like,
Yeah.
that's our natural state. We want to be in equilibrium with things. We want to spend our time in contemplation and in sharing and in beauty and in joy. Those things make life worth living, right? Like the hamster wheel, as you put it's not where it's at. And so, yeah, so thanks for being and being a part of this, and thanks for being at the launch party also. I now have
Yeah.
a name in the face, so
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for being here. This is wonderful.
appreciate you. So Miss Angelina Parnell, if you would like to share your name, your superpower, and what you're about.
Hi. Yeah, sorry that I haven't changed my name on that yet. It's actually Angelina Sloat.
Hi.
And I'm going to be harassed for the rest of the day because you said Parnell. So thank you.
Uh-oh.
My husband's here in the room. He's actually the one who kind of got me involved in this whole FIRE thing. I'm still learning. And I love what you were talking about with those new building materials. And we're actually moving to northern Idaho on off-grid property. We got 20 acres. We basically purchased a gorge.
Oh my
we
God.
did purchase a gorge. It's like 100 feet of like going down, 100 feet going back up. It's insane. 400 feet of elevation gain. So we're building something into the earth
Yeah,
to kind of work with it. Yeah.
That's
So,
amazing.
we're really excited. We just got back yesterday from our trip over there, and we did some trail maintenance and creating trails, and we're just so excited about it.
Super cool. Congratulations.
And my superpower, I don't know if I really have one. I mean, I'm a nurse, so that's supposed to be my superpower, but I don't really identify in that way. So yeah, I guess I'm still figuring out what my superpower is.
Well, if I may hazard a guess, if you are a nurse, then there's something about you that likes to serve and help, and keep people from suffering, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
And that in and of itself is a pretty strong superpower. So kudos to you and your husband, and congratulations for such an amazing spot. I would love to come and visit. Idaho is one of my favorite places in the world, actually.
You are welcome anytime.
Yeah,
literally anytime.
If you guys haven't built, and I don't know what the codes are out there and how lenient they are, this tech for the building stuff is so new that there is no code yet for it. But we can verifiably prove that you can put a lot of pressure on it, in machines and with labs and stuff, and prove that it doesn't break, prove that it doesn't corrode, prove that it insulates. That would be our biggest challenge, is like, you need R60 or R80 by code for some living units in North Carolina, for instance. And like, we can prove that. It just, it hasn't been widely commoditized or turned into, a widely known material, right? So it's like cutting edge stuff. But if we can get our manufacturing situation under wraps in the next, 30 to 120 days, we'll help you. Why not?
Hey, Xavier, I'm just going to jump in real quick, too.
What's your name?
Oh, my name's Jeffrey.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Slipped. Yeah, I'm on the app. You probably see me. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think what you're doing is fantastic. I found you through Jack Spirko, got my wife onto her, watched a couple of the Unloose the Goose, which is fantastic. So we've really been enjoying it, meeting everybody. We're just trying to basically get out, and I love the potential that's going on with FIRE on it. Super cool. So yeah, we'd be really down to try and do a building like that. Biggest thing is getting it, into a
What
you gotta
can
get it across the gorge. Yeah.
You gotta get it across the gorge.
We're actually trying to make a zip line, which sounds kind of stupid, but it'll be wacky and wild. So
No,
yeah,
that'd be awesome.
anyone that comes is welcome. We're hoping that Smoke and Mirrors, whoever that guy is, we're hoping he comes over. He was talking about a biogester. So really cool stuff going on in that community. I love that you've made the space for that, because I've been on Facebook for probably 7 years. I just don't really do social media.
Codes in
Oh yeah,
Idaho
codes
are
are super lax for us.
really lax
That's
in our
probably not a
county.
problem.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah,
So-
then we're all in, you know.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it.
Absolutely.
And just to say, like, I dislike social media so much, which is so ironic that I'm building a social media apparatus. But it's like, it's more about the functions behind it, and everybody likes to share photos and do all that. Cool, let's do it. And I stayed off of social media except for Facebook for a long time, and like I had all my names all over just so I could have the space. And then once Baseline started, I was like, this is why I was doing it. And it was really just to get people who are thinking for themselves, like wit and humor, and like clever humor, you know, because that means that you're sort of clever. And I'd like to be surrounded by clever people. So let's build a community with clever people who understand what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, hey, to that end, a lot of times you make comments in Baseline, it's so quick hitting, and like we don't follow news that's like, what's he talking about? Do you know what he's talking about? But it's great. I love the whole thing. It's a great production.
I'm glad that
And the fact that we wake up and it's there every day is awesome. So
Thank
Dude,
you.
you don't know how many times I'm like, oh my God, it's 4 a.m. Am I really doing this again? Fuck.
I believe it.
And then I'm like, I have to, like, I don't want to stop. Like, it makes me feel happy, because then I walk into the house in the morning when my kids are getting up and they're getting ready for school, and I'm like, hey, good morning, you know, and it livens up everything. So
I'm sure they love that.
yeah. All right, we got Electra.
Cool.
She said she can talk now. Thanks, guys. Look forward to chatting more. All right.
Hello.
Hi, Electra.
Hi. Okay, see, what am I saying? My superpower, and I'm currently in Mexico, at Acapulco. I'm an artist. I
Nice.
came as a performer, and looking for community and land down here. And I've been in permaculture for about 20 years, tropical permaculture, so in Hawaii and Puerto Rico. And I've been wanting to get independent from the system and decentralized for a long time.
Yeah.
And I just love all the innovation that's coming out now with people, you know, really being pushed to the edge to come up with solutions.
Right.
So
What's your superpower?
awesome. Thank you. I said my hands because like I work with the soil and I also do body work. So I just said my hands.
Oh, yeah. So like a natural empath, like so you do body work, right? So there's like, you probably have been able to channel your chi or ki in good ways to help produce like a healing effect. We do a meditation at the end of this that helps structure your atoms, right? Like there's this
It's like on the call.
Yeah, we're going to do a meditation at the end of this, but there's a lot of science that proves that electromagnetism actually increases soil fertility. It increases your healthy structural functions. And we have that natural ability as bodies that produce electricity, right? That we can actually pull in the electricity from the earth, structure it in the atoms around us in such a way that it increases our capacity for life force to flow through. This is just like historically proven, right? And so as a healer, as somebody who works with their hands, you've probably naturally, instinctually figured out a way to start moving that and like adjust other people's electromagnetic fields with your touch like that. So that's really incredible.
Yeah, I like to imagine that too. Like I'm either discharging or recharging. Like
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
How's Anarchapulco going? I was
it's
invited,
been
but I just
amazing.
yeah.
It's been, you know, because it's a lot smaller this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a little more intimate, but it was, it's been a really good flow.
Yeah. What do you think about Puerto Rico? Between Puerto Rico and Mexico, which one would you choose?
Oh, I think I'm kind of choosing here. I mean, land-wise, soil over there is awesome, but
Yeah.
I just feel a little restricted with the United States. I don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty up in the air and kind of weird, all the stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
Well, Electra,
But
you got anything else?
thank you for what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and attention. I think that, all the people that I've interacted so far in this community have been really inspiring to me. And like, that's what I want to see in the world. So like the fact that we're all coming together in this way is really, really inspiring. So thanks, Electra. Let's see, Mr. Brian, I don't think we've spoken before on this platform. Would you like to introduce yourself, your superpower, and what you're excited about in this project?
Yeah, I was actually on the first Zoom call. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. I missed the last two.
That's right.
I couldn't make it to one, and then I just didn't realize it was Monday. But I would say my superpower is overthinking everything.
Are you a Virgo?
Sorry?
Are you a Virgo?
I honestly don't know. I don't pay attention to that.
Hell yeah.
I just trying to learn some more stuff. I actually just started watching some of Bill Mullison's permaculture videos.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was just learning about the Trump. I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, just trying to make my life better and then improve all kinds of stuff, just gardening and whatnot.
Very cool. It's amazing how like that's pretty much like across the board. Like I just want to make my life better and make things better for people, and it's like, well, then why is everything so fucked up? That's like that's what we all want, right? So let's put the systems in place that will help us get those goals. So
yeah.
Well, thanks, Mr. Bagshaw. Is there anybody else who hasn't spoken yet that would like to introduce themselves? Otherwise, we're going to go into the meditation. Anybody? All right, I'm going to mute it real quick and tell my children to be quiet. One moment. I actually need you to be quiet because we're doing the meditation. All right? Okay, thank you. All right. That's my littlest one, playing with Legos. Okay, shh. All right, so if everybody can find themselves, we're going to transition from the fireside chat. Last call for anybody who has any questions. Okie dokie. We're going to transition from doing the fireside chat to the weekly End the Fucking Madness, Create the Epic Shit Global Peace Meditation. So if you find yourself in a comfortable position, seated position, or laying down, whatever you prefer, the way it'll start is we're going to, and anybody following along TikTok, if you got a minute to meditate, that's what we're going to do. So the way we'll start is we'll do a relaxation visualization of a golden light filling your body from the head to toe, and we'll start slowly and build. And imagine any stress or any considerations or consternations just melting off you like coconut oil, to let it pool below you. And that's an important part because that makes you above your problems or your stresses. And so that's a integral part to this. And then we will do a breathing exercise together where we'll take an inhale, hold it, exhale, and hold it. And we'll do that 4 times. And then on the inhale, I'm going to have you picture the electromagnetic life force of the earth spiraling up your spine. And as it does that, kind of sending out the branches of energy through your body to structure your cells and the atoms that make up your cells, building the capacitor charge inside you. And then when we hold it, just become aware of the stillness, become aware of the atoms and the molecules around you, inside of you. And then on the exhale, imagine a fountain of light electricity spiraling out of your crown and creating an electromagnetic field around you, much like a magnet with the iron filings. And this will help your body communicate electromagnetically with the atoms and the molecules around you to help structure them, much like graphene is a perfect buckyball essentially of carbon molecules. We want to do that with the air and the molecules around us. This increases our capacity for electrical life force or ki to flow through us more unobstructed, stronger, brighter, and allows us to bring into reality that which is more in our benefit, right? So we'll start with the relaxation. So if you find yourself in a comfortable seated position or lying down, whichever you prefer, just close your eyes. Take a moment to relieve yourself of all of the stress, anything from the rest of the outside world. Make sure that you're comfortable and as focusing on my voice. And as we go through the guided meditation, we find ourselves in a complete relaxed state, harmony, of balance, and of pure energy. So imagine a golden light shining down upon your crown, bathing you in peace and relaxation. And imagine this golden light entering through the crown of your head and filling up the vessel that is your body. And it begins slowly, the crown of the head, and slowly goes down to cover your brain and your third eye. Imagine all of the firing neurons relaxing, pulsing with the natural rhythm of the earth and the Schumann resonance. Imagine the stresses that you maintain just melting off of your body, pouring off your back, off your forehead, down like melted coconut oil into a pool below you. Imagine this rose gold light continuing down within your being to cover your eyes and your ears, enveloping your nose and your jaw and your teeth and your chin, until your entire cranium is full of this coherent, peaceful, warm rose gold light. Relaxation is your natural state. Imagine this light continuing down your neck, down to your shoulders, your trapezius muscles, biceps, your pecs, enveloping your heart in compassion and gratitude. Take a moment to just reflect on all of your stress just disappearing, melting off of you, pooling below you, easily, effortlessly. And as the rose gold light continues down through your abdomen, to your solar plexus, to your diaphragm, feel a strong sense of who you are, open channel, the universal life force of creation, to be structured into the song that is you. And as that rose gold light continues lower, fills your abdomen and your belly, and all of the creative life force within you, the desires, the strivings, all opening in effortless ease, while all of your stress dissipates off of you. As the rose gold light continues lower and covering your elbows, covering your hips, your pelvis, covering the first chakra of family and tribe, safety. You are a complete being, comprised of the songs and notes of your ancestors, coalesced into the DNA spirals of your life's song. And as that rose gold light continues further south, covers your thighs and your knees, covers your chins, your shin, your ankles, all the way down to your heel and to your toes, until your entire being is vibrantly lit this conscious gnosis of life, the light of creation. Take a moment to bask in the warmth, in the stressless relaxation and stillness of the moment, in gratitude for your being, in gratitude for your breathing, in gratitude for your heart pumping, inspiring the air, the universe around you, and exhaling the carbon dioxide of your thoughts and your feelings. A moment of stillness in an otherwise hectic day. Be aware of the noises in your room and the space around you. Be aware of the other souls that are on this journey together with us. Each of them striving towards a world of balance and of beauty, increased awareness, increased joy, increased health and well-being, an equilibrium, beauty. We will begin the breathing, pulling in the life force energies of the earth through our root chakra, spiraling them up our spine with every inhalation. And then we will pause and increase your awareness of your body and of the molecules of the air around you during these pauses, deepening your consciousness and your awareness of all of that which is around you as an aspect of yourself. And then with the exhalation, spiraling that water fountain of light electricity energy around your being and the thing that we call the aura, the electromagnetic field, to structure the air molecules around you, to be an extension of your being, to brighten the light that is your soul. And we will begin. Inhale, spiraling that light energy up, pause and hold it. The stillness, exhale, structuring the atoms around you, and hold it. Aware of the weightlessness of the sea of creation. Inhale the energy up through your spine and hold it. Your body filling with light and electricity. Exhale and structure the world around you with your attentions and your peace, and hold it. Inhale the energy up from the universal creation, spiraling it up your spine, and hold it. Exhaling the life force spinning around you, structuring the atoms in your aura, increasing your light, and hold it. Inhaling the song of your ancestors and the spirit of the land, spiraling it up your spine, and hold it. Exhaling that peace and purity and structuring the world around you, and hold it. Inhale once more the energy up from the earth through your spine, and hold it. Exhaling and structuring the world of your life and your dreams and your memories, and hold it. One more, inhaling the energy of the earth and spiraling it through your system, and hold it. Be aware of the stillness of the atoms in your room, and exhale, strengthening your field, and hold it. Breathe comfortably as you see fit, with as much intention as drawing in energy up in your inhalation and expelling it, and coherently structuring the atoms of your being and your body around you on the exhales. We will begin an exploration of the cosmos, increasing the amount of information and power within which we contain in our body cells, understanding our place in the cosmos, and building our frequency to that which is what we desire, which is peace and balance in the world as an expression of the peace and balance that is within. Be aware of the atoms and the molecules and the space around you, all of the memories and feelings that they hold as electromagnetic charges of your thoughts and your feelings. Become aware of the ancestors that have come before you and their journeys throughout life, their strivings, their longings, their challenges, their loves, the entire lifetimes of all of the lineage leading to you at this moment now, empowering you as an expression of the divine infinite creator, a facet from the gem of infinity, experiencing, learning, comprehending from that particular spot that you call here and now. Become aware of the space around you and the home that you are in or the office. Become aware of the molecules in the air and the molecules in the walls with imprints of your emotions and your thoughts and your life force. The comfort of your own reflection, housing you and comforting you. The song of that place, holding your song. Increase your size and awareness till you are floating in that space, comfortable, understanding that your body is more than just the physical cells, but is the electromagnetic life force and coherence that structures your song, comprised of all of your ancestors and your life force now. And as you float there in that space, you become aware of the memories of the past, of the stories of your life that have been held in this place, the learning, the growing, the singing, the dancing. Increase your size and awareness till you are floating outside above this place, aware of the building that you are in or the home that you are above, becoming aware of the environment around it, the community, the neighborhood, the forest, all of the life forms there, the insects, the birds, the lizards, the four-legged ones, the two-legged ones, and all of their songs, their atomic structure, and the gnosis of their being, creating a song of itself, of which you are a part, moving in harmony and in balance with those things, providing love and appreciation and gratitude for the greater song of which you are a part. And as we increase our size and perspective, we are now floating above the nation or the state, with all of the millions of people, the millions of beings, the two-legged ones, the four-legged ones, the winged ones, the insects, the fish, the plant people, the herbs, the trees, all the beautiful symphony of harmony and creation, exploring life and all of its infinite wonder, a song of creation of which you are a part, in harmony and in balance. And as we increase our size and magnification, we are now floating above the earth, all of the nations below us, all of the plants, the seas, the clouds, the spirits, the life forces, the two-legged ones, the four-legged ones. An entire symphony of creation comprised of trillions upon trillions of atoms, structured into billions and billions of beings and life forms, each comprised of universes of their own, comprised of the ancestry and lineages, a sea of information, a river of life, flowing in infinite forms, a symphony of creation of which you are intrinsically a part. with a yearning that your notes strike true in the grand symphony, increasing balance and increasing joy. And as we are increasing our size and magnification, we become aware of ourselves at the upper atmosphere of this planet. Become aware of one of each of us. Look across the horizon and see the other souls that are here in this meditation with us. Each bright lights of coherent, structured integrity and gnosis. The leading edge, millions and billions of years of life, structured into this moment that you are now. Imagine a light stretching from you to each one of these beings. And as you are doing that, we create a web, comfort and protection above this planet. And as we do that, we rain down frequency of balance and of peace, of gratitude, vibrancy in the plants, vibrancy in the sea, vibrancy in the air, vibrancy in the being. Life, love, harmony, and gratitude. And as you are seeing yourself sending this beautiful energy to the earth and enveloping it in your love, you become aware of the angels and the angelic realms, the guardians of this sphere, who gaze upon you with gratitude and deep love. Know that you are never alone. And as we increase our size and magnification, we become aware of the moon nearby, and the beautiful gem, this beautiful blue gem of the earth below us. We become aware of the moon and its life force, its gnosis, and its history, helping this planet, balancing it, its own journey, trillions of years and eons, a companion reflecting the light of the star so that we would know that we are never alone in the darkest of nights. And as we increase our size and magnification, we are aware of all of the spheres in this system, each one comprised of trillions upon trillions of atoms, structuring billions and billions of formations, rocks and gases, seas, life forms, each planet its own symphony, comprised of trillions of years of history. And we become aware of the star, the central soul in this solar system, full of ever churning, ever creating life, atoms within which we are clothed. The entire system clothed in the radiant dreams of this one solar star, a consciousness and a gnosis far beyond each one of our own, comprised of billions of souls, billions of points of awareness, overseeing trillions of years of history. The life force of this solar system creating, churning life into existence so that the soul might dream itself into that material and create this life that you call here and now. And as we increase our size and magnification, the entire solar system shrinks into a pinpoint of light. And we become aware of trillions of other pinpoints of light surrounding us in the sky, in space, each one a system comprised of billions and billions of years of history, trillions and trillions of uncountable atoms and molecules, full of the gnosis and transmigration of infinite matter into material existence. The grand symphony of creation, the exploration of the infinite creator into finite material. And as we increase our size and magnification, all of those pinpricks of light shrink, and we become aware that we are floating above the spiral galaxy of the Milky Way, a spiraling hurricane of infinite star systems, infinite points of gnosis, infinite years of history, consciousness exploring consciousness, love's longing for itself, transmigration of undifferentiated consciousness into form, spinning into existence, a symphony in and of its own self, of which you are a part. And as we increase our size and magnification, we become aware of many, many infinite galaxies throughout the infinite stretches of the known universe. All of those galaxies comprised of infinite stars, infinite years of history, collective gnosis of billions and billions of beings. The power, the love, the strivings, the stories of each of those star systems and each of those uncountable planets throughout the course of the infinite expanse of creation, of which you are integrally a part. As we increase our size and magnification, all of those galaxies and all of the space around us shrink to one pinprick of light. And you are within an atom with electrons flying around you and quarks, muons and gluons. An entire universe within the tiniest atomic structure, with its own life force distilled by the infinite stories within it. As you increase your size and magnification, you realize that that atom is actually a molecule comprised of several atoms, each one an infinite story of the universal creation, balancing together into a structure, a molecule, which as you increase your size and your magnification, you realize is a skin cell or a cell in your body, alongside billions of other cells comprised of trillions of atoms, each with an infinite song and story of immense power and immense, unbounded creative potential. A life form comprised of infinite life forms. A gem, a facet on the gem of the infinite creator, of which you are a part. And all of those cells and atoms come together to create the story that is you, the song that is you, built of the infinite atoms and infinite universes of infinite unbounded creative potential, structured into the life forces of your ancestors, the environments in which you have grown, the star systems which our people have traveled through. Remembering now what you are. How will it fit into this little story that we each carry of who we are? How will that light break through the shell of your understanding and formulate itself into a world of greater gnosis, of greater balance, of greater health, greater well-being? Drawing upon that infinite energy from the earth and all of the atoms within you, pouring forth your creative life force into the world, that it might reflect back in stillness and in beauty, that you might remember that you are an infinite, unbounded being having a finite experience. No longer are you relegated to the structures within this civilization and this society to tell you what decency is. You are guided by the most powerful, unbounded creative life force in the universe itself. You are the grand symphony of creation, distilled into a perfect song. And so it is. Aho.
Aho.
Wow. Thank you, everyone. Another beautiful day, beautiful fireside chat. If anybody would like to share anything that they experienced during that, please feel free to do so now. Otherwise, I will wish you well on your day with many blessings, that you might make it a great and meaningful day, won't you? All right. Thank you, everyone.